You are listening to Mara Moments. It's blooming season. Pause, reflect, embody, and execute. Today, I wanted to talk about goal setting, creating your blueprint. We are currently at the midpoint of 2025, and as also known as beginning of Q3, according to our calendar year. Have you reviewed your goals for 2025 yet? How often are you reviewing your goals? Did you set any goals this year? Or are you truly going with the flow? I want to encourage you today to take a few moments and think about where you wanted to be by the end of 2025. Are you on track? Have you gotten off of track? If you're on track, congratulations, keep going. As it was said in Finding Nemo, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. What do? We swim. Keep the momentum, keep the consistency. If you've gotten off track, that's okay too. As one of my favorite R&B singers, the late R&B princess Aaliyah said, if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. Dust yourself off and try again. Try again. Try again. Life happens, and it doesn't make sense to use our finite energy to beat ourselves up or bring ourselves down because we aren't where we need to be. We should use our energy to build ourselves up. There are lessons in everything. So today, make time to sit down, pull out your journal or a piece of paper and your phone as well. Think about 3 goals that you set for yourself at the beginning of this year and take an honest inventory and create a reflective moment. Assess where you are, what you could be doing better, what are you currently doing well. For everything that you're not doing well, think of a counteractive thought that will help you get in the right direction or put you back on track. And also think of an action that will help you reach your goal. I have a few tips that I would like to share in regards to setting your goals so that you can get to where you want to go by the end of 2025, or at least make progress, significant progress. First tip, I would say think about your goal. What is your end goal? What do you want to accomplish? And reverse engineer your goal. So basically that means start from the end in mind. So let's say you desire to lose weight. Well, how are you going to do that? If you haven't made any progress towards losing weight, you have to assess why. More than likely, it'll boil down to your mindset and your thoughts about losing weight. Is it possible for you? Do you think it's possible? Maybe you might have some health issues, or maybe you're taking medication that's kind of standing in the way and makes it a little bit more difficult for you to lose weight. And that's okay. Consult a medical professional and do what you need to do in order to get yourself on track. But just in general, let's say the goal is to lose weight. And let's say the goal is, we'll say 10 pounds. What are some things that you can do to help you lose weight? One thing that I know for sure, movement is healing. So get out there and get walking. Whether it's 10,000 steps a day, maybe it's 7,000, but get out there, get your body moving, get active. Incorporating working out, lifting weights 2 to 3 times a week. Work on your diet as well. You can't substitute for a bad diet. We have to make sure we're putting the proper minerals and nutrients and vitamins inside of our body so that it can operate the way that God intended it for it to operate. So think about all those things that you need to do. I know at one point in time, I was hitting 10,000 steps every day for like 6 weeks. And my goal was to walk those 10,000 steps every day. What did I do? I pulled out my little trackpad from the garage, dust that off. I put it in my room because I knew that if my trackpad was in my room, there'd be no questions asked. Like, I can't run from my goal. The tool that I need to help me is right here in my room. And then I started thinking about what other excuses would I possibly give myself? Oh, well, my shoes. Well, have your shoes. I put my shoes right there by the treadmill. I had my socks put in the shoes, and then also had my outfit pulled out the night before. So I had no excuse but to get up and hop on the treadmill and execute, front load my morning, execute and get like 3,000 to 5,000 steps out the way. I got into a point where I calculated that if I go walking or running, jogging, I can knock out 5,000 steps in 60 minutes. So I would challenge myself for like about a couple weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks, to just knock out 5,000 steps in an hour. And when I tell you I set the mark and I executed, I was hitting my goal. But life happens. I'm a mommy as well. Every morning is not easy breezy. So you just give yourself grace. However, keep your goal, your end goal in mind, always. Another tip that I would suggest is consider Zig Ziglar's Wheel of Life. I found this a couple years ago, and the Wheel of Life, it focuses on 7 areas, which include social, family, career, financial, spiritual, God, physical, and personal. And what I try to do every quarter is at least work on one area. Not one area, I'll work on all the areas. However, I would choose one goal for each area. So that would help me be a more well-rounded person. And I'm not just working on my physical goal or my spiritual goal, but I'm making sure that I'm staying well-rounded and I have at least one goal for myself in each of those areas. So I would encourage you to do the same. Create a financial goal. If you want to pay off some debt, write it down. Write how you'll obtain that. And also, if you need to maybe go get a second job, figure out how to do that, or pick up a side hustle or create a side hustle. Do that. The only thing that's holding you back is yourself. A lot of the times it's our mindset and our limited beliefs that we hold. Another system that I like to use to help me with my goals as well is also SMART goals. It is an acronym, and here it is broken down. S stands for specific. A specific goal clearly defines what needs to be accomplished, who is involved, and what steps are required. M stands for measurable. Measurable goals include criteria for tracking progress and determining success. Achievable. A, achievable. Achievable goals are realistic and attainable, considering available resources and capabilities. R, for relevant. Relevant goals align with broader objectives and are meaningful to the individual. T stands for time-bound. Time-bound goals have a defined deadline or time frame, creating a sense of urgency and accountability. So when I found out about this framework to create goals, I sat down and I thought about, as I mentioned, those areas that I wanted to improve in. And I made sure that I was specific. I've noticed that when I have specific goals, to me, it's just a target, and it's not a moving target either. I'm the one moving, and I'm moving closer to my goal, closer to my target. So I'll say, for instance, when it came to finances and wanting to save, well, I had to sit down and create a budget and look at where my money was going and cut back on a lot of things so that I could save my money and reach my financial goals. So being specific, how much money do you want to save? Do you want to save $500 by the end of the year? Okay, well, we have 6 months left in this year. Well, break that down. That's a little under $100 every month that you need to save. So maybe it might be around $75, give or take. But that's how much you need to save. You break that down into 4 weeks, or you just want to say 2 weeks. Most of us get paid every 2 weeks. So that's 75 divided by 2. That puts us at like 35-ish, 32, 50-ish, around there, 30 something dollars that you need to save every paycheck. And if you need to, create a little chart for yourself. And every time the 2 weeks passes and you drop some money in your bucket, or you put it into your savings account, your emergency savings fund, go ahead and shade that in. I'm a visual learner, and I also love pie charts. I just love charts. I love to see money grow. I enjoy just seeing trends of different things that can help me be a better person, and just even looking at data and information. So do that and help yourself. And you already have that timeline. It would be from now until the end of the year. So that's 6 months. It gives you a time bound. And then how is this going to help you? How is it relevant? Well, it's relevant because let's say your tire goes out and you need to replace it as soon as possible. Well, now you have a little pot to take some money from so that you can go ahead and get your tire fixed. Another practice that I have is creating an actual blueprint for myself. So once I have my goals either written out or I type them out, I eventually type them up and I create a blueprint for myself for the quarter. And sometimes I may just do it by the month. And then, of course, putting it all together, it's for the quarter. But I start with, in the next 30 days, what do I want to complete? So having a July blueprint, and write down all the goals that you want to accomplish in the next 30 days. And it can be simple tasks as well. But either way, it should be helping you get to your end goal. And that's what I do. I print out my goals. I put them in a folder and I keep them right in front of me. And it helps me to go back and refer to it, whether I want to do it in the morning, on a weekly basis, on Sundays, on a daily basis. And I have my different goals, working on whether it be certifications or wanting to work more on my diet, being more physically active. I put everything in there. And I just open it up and reference it. And sometimes I mark things off like, yes, I got this done today. I haven't gotten to this other task yet, but I'm going to make sure I get to it. And if you have to schedule out time to do it within your day and stack your habits, do that so you can meet your goals. Like when it comes to reaching our goals, we are our own limit. We may have different obstacles. Okay, so be it. That's life. How can you still accomplish your goal that you set in mind? And that you want to accomplish? You figure it out. There's more than one way to skin a cat. You can get it done. You can get it done for sure. And one thing that I've noticed with myself, another tip, sometimes you may have to find an accountability partner. Yes, I believe we should be accountable to ourselves, because at the end of the day, our choices and decisions, they're going to affect us first. And depending on our life situation, our circumstances, what we do will affect others as well. However, sometimes we need to find an accountability partner for one particular goal, because of one reason or another. It's just challenging to get to that end goal that we have in mind. For instance, I know I wanted to work on a certification. I bought access to the training like maybe 2-3 years ago, and I never finished it because of life just happening, getting involved in the community, just doing other things. However, it really was laid on my heart to create a plan and get it done. Watching one video, completing one lesson every week. And then I sped it up because I was really engrossed in the content. And I found an accountability partner, and I told her, I'm going to complete this in the next 8 weeks. However, I may do it faster than that, because I'm seeing the pace in which I'm going, and I'm really enjoying the content, and I'm taking my notes. I'm on the treadmill taking notes on my phone, and just taking in all of the information and then going to implement it. But I just wanted to complete my certification, and I was able to do that, and I had an accountability partner. So I would just let her know, okay, I just finished this module, and send her a screenshot, or she may check in with me and see, okay, Jamara, where are you going? Where are you at? What do you need help with this week? So sometimes you have to go and find someone who has the same goal as you, or maybe they don't, but they have a goal in mind that they want accountability for. Go find your tribe. Go find someone that will hold you accountable and keep you accountable. And the last tip that I want to share with you, as the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. And then there's also a good book called As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. To me, it was a dry read. Like, I just couldn't get into the book at all. However, now, it was the book of the month for a group that I was in, and I really wanted to read the book because I wanted to contribute to our book review. However, I just couldn't get into it. One day I was feeling really down and I had to pick myself up. So thought came to me, go look for the book on YouTube. So I looked for the book on YouTube and I found an audio version. And when I tell you I listened to that book and it gathered me up, all the way up in my thoughts and how I was feeling. And it just reminded me to monitor my thoughts. So that is the last suggestion, tip I would give to you. Monitor your thoughts on your way to completing your goals, because not every thought we have is a positive one. However, it is our responsibility to combat those thoughts once we have them. So monitor your thoughts. Be mindful of what you're watching, who you're around, what conversations you're having, because sometimes we can become defeated by the thoughts we have. And it may be based upon a conversation that we have with somebody. So monitor your thoughts. Monitor what you're listening to. I would even say what you're eating. Everything around us is energy, and we're energy as well. So even eating good food, fruits, vegetables, protein, like enough protein for your body, all those things are energy for our body to function. And what we put in our body affects what we produce in lack thereof. So be mindful of that. Be mindful of your thoughts, where you're going, conversations you're having. What are you reading? Are you reading any good books? If not, check out As a Man Thinketh. So I just wanted to leave you with this. Create your blueprint. For those of us who are believers, consult God, align with Him, and He'll share with you His blueprint for you. And in that, create your blueprint. Write it out. Figure out a plan to execute it. If you need to connect with mentors and people within your community to accomplish your goal, to execute your blueprint, do that. At the end of the day, we are our own limits. So thank you so much for tuning in. Tomorrow Moments. Remember, it's blooming season. Pause, reflect, embody, and execute. I hope you have a great week.